Let's do this, people! Same as we always do. Start with a big inhale, lift the hands up. Exhale, come down. Bend the knees a little and make it a little bit bigger. Let's do just one more. Lift. And then bring it down. Roll your shoulders back 2 or 3 times. Then just drop your chin to your chest. Roll on down. Bring those fingertips down towards the toes. Belly's pulled in nice and tight. Try and engage some of those abdominal area muscles. So your nice deep one, your TVA, pull it in nice and tight to your spine as you roll down and roll yourself back up. And you bring your head up last. Let's do that a couple of times. Take your time. So I want you to really feel the movement through your spine. So rather than just rushing it, let's try and just do one little bit at a time. So you work your way down the spine, feel every movement that you can. And then slowly bring yourself back up again. And just rebuild that spine back up. We'll do just one more. But when we get to the bottom this time, we're just going to hang there for a little bit. So roll yourself down. Collapse, 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 collapse. Let those fingertips hang. And then when you find a nice position where you can just hang for a moment, stay right there. Now you might have your fingers on the floor, you might not. If you do have your fingers on the floor and you want to try and pull yourself down a little bit more, just lift your foot and slide your hand underneath the foot. So pulls your hands, or the back of the hands down onto the floor. Try and keep the knees soft but not bent. So you just got a little softness in the knees. Then just focus on where you are tense right now. So are you lifting your head and shrugging your shoulders a little? If you are, just try and relax it. Are you feeling it pull down the back of the thighs? If you are, you might need to lift a little or maybe bend the knees just a touch more to take it out. Are you feeling it more through your middle back? If so, just take nice deep breaths. Try and let it reset. Slowly we're going to bring ourselves back up. Don't rush, come up nice and slow. Rolling back up, building that spine back to the top. So your head is the last bit to come up. And when you get there, take the hands back and behind and lift the chin. And you can add a little lean back if you wish. Open up those chests and shoulders. Drop it down, give your shoulders a big roll. So, if you need to hold on for this one, you can hold on to a chair or something. What we're going to do is place our hands on our hips if not. Bring the heel up so it's close to the knee, not quite touching. What I want you to do is make small circles with this leg. So bring the knee in and turn the heel out. Try and keep the hips as still as possible and then return. So the heel comes back. So you're trying to get as much movement through that hip joint as possible, but without moving these hips. So they will naturally turn a little bit towards the end, but try not to go too far round. Let the leg and the hip joint do all the work. Heel comes in, knee goes out, take it out as far as you can, and then bring the knee in and take the heel out as far as you can. So it's a big rotation through that hip. Like I said, hold on if you need to. It's all about that movement for it, that hip joint, rather than the balance work for this one. So some of you will get quite a bit of movement. Try and focus on where your tight areas are. Is it when you take the knee out, do you feel tight in the glutes? Or do you feel tighter in the glutes or the front of thigh when you bring the knee forward and round and push the heel out? Do just one more. Really open up. Turn it round and then relax. Just give it a little circle round if you want to. Open it up a little and then switch. So if you're not using a chair, obviously you're going to get a little bit of balance work in there too, but really try and focus on this movement. So what you're focusing on, you've got your hip joint and your leg just sits up. Femur sits right up into that hip joint, and it's that we're turning. So focus on the bone in the top of your leg. That's what you're rotating around. That's what you need to really focus on, is that movement. Keeping these hips square to me if we can. So you'll notice one side probably has more limitations than the other. Most of us do have that. Again, just one more. And then if you want to, you can give it a couple of big circles just to open up that hip as well. Then relax. Feet, step your right leg just a couple of inches forward. You can bring your left foot up onto the heel. And all I want you to do is push your right knee forward as far as you can, keeping the right heel down, and then bring it back up. So we're pulsing into a nice, deep calf stretch. Use your left leg for balance and for control. So it's just on the foot, on the toe behind. That's the one that drives you forward and keeps your balance. But really focus on keeping that heel down on the front leg, so you get as much of a bend in that ankle as you can, and it'll really open up all through that calf muscle down into the Achilles area. You might even feel a little bit into your ass and hips.
Rob, is
yes,
it okay to let your knee go over your toes?
Yes, let it go as far as you can, lovey.
Yeah.
So really try and open it up as much as you can, but main thing is to keep this heel down, and the further you get with the knee, the more you'll open up the ankle joint. So yeah, definitely if you can get it over the toes, perfect. We'll do just one more, and then we'll switch. So this is perfect for anyone who has, you know, like heavy footwear for work, or wears a lot of high heels for work, or just for partying. Or if you've just got tight calves, or if you like running, or if you do loads of jumpy kind of classes. So if you did plyo 300 yesterday, you probably feel it today in your calf muscles. If you didn't do plyo 300 yesterday, why not? No excuses. Don't need an internet connection to be stable for that one, do you, Sally? No excuse there, that one's on YouTube. Good, just two more. Really push it through. And then relax. Next, a couple of options. We're going to take our feet nice and wide. I'm going to drop down to one side. So this might be enough just to sit like this. If you want to try and open up the hip joint and the inner thighs a little bit more, you can drop that other foot so that it comes onto the heel and the toes lift, and you can place one hand behind and sit into a nice deep stretch if you wish. We'll place both hands behind if it's easier. Well, like I said, you can just stay into a nice deep inner thigh stretch. You choose whichever option you want. And then we're going to rotate up, so that far leg or left leg is going to rotate onto the ball of the foot. We're going to turn out to face our right, and we're in a nice high lunge position. Take the hands wherever you feel comfortable, either side of the leg or both on the same side, whichever you prefer. Keep this hip lifted. Try and make a nice straight line, pushing back through the heel and forward through the front knee. Just open it up as much as you can. Then drop that back knee to the floor Lift both hands up and just lean back whilst pushing your hips forward. So you lean the upper body back, reach back with the fingertips, palms facing each other, elbows close to the head. Push your hips towards your front knee. And then relax, bring it down, come on back up, come to the center, still with your feet wide. Find a nice comfortable position. You may want to put your hands on your hips and hold, or place them on your thighs, or you might want to put the hands down on the floor and just drop down a little bit lower, wherever you feel comfortable. Now we're going to go the same on the left, so you can either just drop into that knee and hold it there, so you get a nice deep stretch in that inner thigh, or you can rotate that right leg up onto the heel, take the hand behind if you wish, or however is comfortable for you to maintain that position. Try and keep the foot of the left foot nice and flat on the floor. And then we're just going to rotate so that right foot now comes up onto the ball of the foot. Keep that leg lifted nice and high, hands wherever is comfortable, nice straight line, right heel pushes to the side of the room, left knee points to the other direction, and just open up through those hips. Then slowly drop that back knee to the floor. Same again, hands, palms facing each other, elbows stay close to the head, lift and reach back, push the hips forward, drop into the stretch a little bit more, and just relax here for a moment. Take the hands down, bring it to the center, knees together, and we just sit back into that child's pose and relax. So while we're here today, we're going to do a little mid-thoracic exercise that we normally do, but with a slight variation on. So I'm going to show you the normal version, and if you prefer that, you can stick with that. The normal version is where we come onto our hands and knees, we place one hand behind the head, and we rotate upwards. Now with the variation today, if you want to try it, locks your lower back down a little bit more, so you get more rotation through the mid-thoracic, but it's a little bit more challenging. So you'll sit back into the child's pose, you place your right hand so the forearm is down on the floor and the elbow is close to your knee. Then you place your left arm, rather than behind your head, place it just below your neck, so it's around about here, and then you try and do the same thing. You open up, try and get that elbow towards the ceiling, and bring it back, and you'll notice you'll have nowhere near as much mobility as what you would if you did it on all fours. So this is really focusing on that center part of your spine, the middle of your T-spine, really opening up. So if you work at a desk, perfect exercise. So keep our mid-thoracic nice and mobile. Use the arm that's on the floor to lever yourself up a little. See if you can go a little bit further each time. One more time. And then just relax, take the arms out, back into that child's pose. How many of you tried that and it was more challenging? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's very hard. and relax. So we're going to try the same on the other side if you want to. So the arm is on the forearm, elbow is close to the knee, and you just place your hand so it's literally just below your neck, almost like sat on the top of your back, and then you open up towards the ceiling. So really try and pull that elbow up to the ceiling. Turn your eyes up there as well, so it opens up the cervical area of your spine too. Like I said, use that arm on the floor to lever the body, but try and keep the hips down so they're sat down onto those heels. We'll do just one more and then relax. And relax, relax, relax. Stay back in that child's pose. Next we're going to do another one, which is also more for around the pelvis. So sometimes we can do this movement where we kind of tilt our pelvis, and then if we extreme it, we can go into the cat and cow pose. But instead today, sit yourself back. So try and keep from here to around about middle part of your lower back nice and still. You're going to just do this. You're going to place your hands below your shoulders, and you're just going to push your bum backwards towards the heels, keeping that back reasonably flat, and then bring it back up. Now some of you probably won't feel much at all. Some of you might find this quite uncomfortable in your lower back, depending on if you're tight around those muscles. So basically what we're doing is pushing our bum back and letting our legs tilt our pelvis. That's why we've got to try and keep the back nice and flat. So the legs are tilting the pelvis backwards, and our upper body is not manoeuvring to allow for that. So we just got to keep that from around about the middle of your lower back all the way to your shoulders, as flat and as straight as possible, and just push that bum right back. It'll also open up the front of the thighs a little. Nice and controlled. We'll do just one more. And then relax. Now we will come up onto the hands and toes, hands and knees even, and we're gonna arch that spine all the way up and all the way down. So we'll get just a little bit of movement. So now your back is the one doing the work to get your pelvis moving, whereas before it was the legs. So it was a little bit more subtle, but it works completely different muscles. Try and open up some of those smaller, deeper muscles around the hips, around the lower back, around the tops of the legs. But this one, work all those muscles up through that spine. Arch it up as much as you can, drop the chin into the chest. Really try and push up through the centre of your back rather than the top. So imagine from behind your belly button, that's kind of where we're pushing upwards. That's a kind of area, rather than from behind your shoulders, behind the belly button. Do just one more. And then relax. Now, this next one, if you're near the sofa and you want to make it a little bit more challenging, feel free to do so. I'll show you. This is my make-believe sofa. So I'm going to come into a hip flexor stretch with my right leg, and that might be enough for you. Take your left arm up and just reach. But if you want to try and get a little bit into that left leg also, you can bring your left foot up against the sofa or the wall or something like that, so it bends your knee. You'll bend your left knee, and it will get a little bit of a stretch into that quad as well. And reach. Entirely up to you. You might not have anything accessible, so that's fine. You can just stay in that hip flexor stretch, reach, and then take it back down. The higher the foot, the more of the stretch you're going to get in the front of this thigh on the back leg. So if you push yourself right up against the wall, that'll work too. But it does make it a little bit uncomfortable on your knee if you haven't got a nice thick mat. Just do one more. and then relax and switch. So the other leg now comes forward and the other leg goes back onto your make-believe sofa, and then you reach the arm, which is in line with the back leg, up to the ceiling and then back down. Nice and gentle with the reach. Just one more. And then relax, take it out. Come away from your sofas if that's where you are, or your walls, and relax. So now, we're going to bring our feet in front. Find yourself a nice comfortable position. Legs out straight. Lift nice and tall through the chest. And then, rather than just lifting the arms and folding, all I want you to do is lift through that chest. Place your hands on your shins and just slide forward. Try and keep the back flat for now. Slide the hands forward so you get, again, a little bit of a tilt from this pelvis, but not too much yet. Keep the chest lifted. So you might find that you'll feel the muscles in the mid or upper back stretching here as well, depending if that's where you're a little bit tighter. And then take a nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, just reach and fold forward, down towards those toes. If you can grab the feet, great. And if you can't, just grab hold of the shins and use them to pull yourself down. And just stay wherever you feel comfortable. From here, bring those feet in close to your bum. Let the knees drop out to the side. Just hold it here. If you want to put a little bit of pressure onto the knees to increase the stretch, feel free. If you're happy to just let them hang and let the weight of the legs do the work, you can do that too. Get those heels in nice and close to your bum. Sit up nice and tall. Chloe, is that your mum in the room? So she can join you, but she won't join in. What's that all about? Lazy man, isn't she? Why ain't she doing the class? Relax. Take your legs out in front again. Lie yourself all the way down. We're just going to do a little bit to open up our chest and shoulders. So, bend your legs so they're at 90 degrees. Take your arms out so they're level with your shoulders, but just an inch or two below. Yeah, just an inch or two below. And from here, all I want you to do is rotate your forearms up as if you're going to touch them down onto the floor. If you can touch them on the floor, amazing. If not, just work in and out of that movement. So work in and out, get that mobility in here for, it's going to open up the chest, the pec minor mainly. It's also going to open up a little bit of the front of the shoulders. Just take the time, see if you can get those arms to lie flat, and then bring it back up. Notice what happens when you get your arms flat. Do your shoulders sit nice and comfortably? Does your shoulders lift slightly away from the floor? Do one more. And then just slide your left leg out nice and straight along the floor. Bring the right leg to 90 degrees and fold it over the body. So you get a little bit of a twist in that waist. A bit of a stretch through those glutes and upper and outer thighs. Keep the shoulders down on the floor. Then bring it back to the centre. Leave the right ankle on top of the left knee. Just let the right knee drop down towards the floor. So open up the inner thigh a little bit. It's just resting across the body, sat on top of that leg. Relax. We'll bring the opposite leg up, 90 degrees, fold it over. Back to the centre, leave that ankle across on the opposite leg again, just let the knee drop down, open up that inner thigh a little bit more, working around that hip joint again. Relax. So last one, what we're going to do for our upper body, we're going to bend our legs to 90 degrees. We're going to place our hands above our head so they're nice and flat. Just let the arms and the legs rest down on the floor. Then you're going to pull your arms down in this position. So you're going to slide your elbows down in towards your waist, and then you're going to push your arms back up. But you're going to try and keep your arms flat on the floor whilst you do it. So your elbows will want to lift away from the floor. Try and keep them down. Pull the elbows in. Don't let the hands fare too far away from the body. And then take it straight back up. So again, notice where the tightness is. So I get to probably about level with my shoulders, and then right in the back of my shoulders, right in the center, it gets really pitchy and quite tight. So I'm quite tight. Just above my rhomboids, upper trapezius, and then slide it back up. Try not to slide it too fast if you're on a carpet, because you might get a carpet burn, and then you've got to explain that to your partners. Keep those elbows reasonably close to the side of the body. Don't let the hands drop out too far away from the side of the body either. Just take it as far as your body, so as far as your arms and your shoulders and your muscles in your back will let you. We do just one more. And then all I want you to do is grab your knees, hug them in just a little bit, lower back stretch. So we're just going to hold it here for a few seconds. Feel free to rock your body from side to side if you want to. If you're happy just keeping still, just do that. Let the ankles relax. Try not to tense any muscles. Bring the knees in. No tensing, no tension, just everything is relaxed. Then drop the heels down, lift your hips up as high as you can into a bridge position, push those hips up towards the ceiling, just hold it there for a moment, so bend the pelvis the opposite direction. And take it down. And find yourself a nice comfortable position, because we're going to have a nice bit of quiet time. You can lie yourself down, you can sit yourself up, you can grab yourself a jumper or a blanket or a pillow, get yourself comfortable. So we're going to spend about 4 to 5 minutes in this position now. All I want you to do is, if you are led down, or even if you're sat up, try and place one hand on the chest or lower chest and one hand on the stomach, and just really concentrate on your breathing as we stay here. So try not to let the belly lift and not the chest, and try not to let the chest lift completely and not the belly. You want to feel a little bit of both movements, but focusing on your rib cage, probably expanding more than anything else. Deep breaths in, and then slow, long, deep breaths out. Really try and focus on your breathing. Every time the mind wanders, bring it back to this. And once you've got that, if you want to let your hands relax by the side of your body, you can do so. Just keep them breaths nice and long and deep. Bringing a little bit of life back to the hands and feet with little movements. Nice and gentle. Open your eyes if you close them. Keep breathing nice and deep. Use your legs to sit yourself up if you need to.